What is up, good people? We've got a very cool conversation lined up for you today. This was one of those that when I was watching it back, I was sitting down with my notebook and my pen just taking notes because it's just so much knowledge. If you're somebody who's either an artist or you're in the music business, this is the one for you. We've got Dorian, who is the co-founder of Groover, just making wins happen for independent artists all over. They're one of the leaders in music promotion right now. And he's joined by Vishal, who is the co-founder of Sinusoidal Music. This is a very fun conversation, and without any further ado, let's get right into it.
How are you doing? How's New York? You're in New York, right?
Yeah, I'm in New York. I'm in Brooklyn now. Yeah, no, I love it. The weather is not that good today, but it was amazing
Okay.
the past few days. So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Is it rainy or how's it?
yeah. It's rainy a bit today, but before that, it was like sunny and hot and everything you want. So, I mean,
Uh,
like one rainy day.
Nice. It's very similar to our weather, I guess. So we're in Bangalore, India. It's very similar like that. It's
Yeah.
rain sometimes. It doesn't. Yeah.
Was
And
it?
you went there for something related to Groover, or was it like a vacation?
Yeah, I live between Paris and New York now for
Oh,
the
okay.
company mainly, knowing that it's growing a lot in the US. So I'm spending a lot of time in New York. We're organizing events. I'm meeting a lot of people there. There are a lot of companies around artist services that are in the area. And it's great to
Nice.
see that the company is and the platform is growing there, and meeting people is helping a lot.
So I was curious. So even I started my music business back in 2020. Even I was a musician. Then I found the need to grow playlists and stuff. So I'd love to know like how you started your journey as co-founding Groover, and also like what was it that led to the birth of Groover?
Yeah, so we started end of 2017. We were doing a program in UC Berkeley, entrepreneurship program. Before that, in 2013, I had started my own music blog as like a hobby project. And
Nice.
I had developed it into something where we were shooting live acoustic sessions. We were also organizing events. So I kind of knew a bit more about the music industry than any other like sectors or industry or like jobs and everything. But
Yeah.
when we did that program, we met with Romain and Raphael, my co-founders. And Romain, we knew each other from before, but we talked a lot about the fact that on my end with my music blog, I was receiving so many tracks sent by artists, and Romain had started a project. He had released an EP and started a small label with his father, and he had run into a lot of
Nice.
issues with releasing and getting his music heard and everything. So we just discussed a lot about that, and we had a quite a different idea in the beginning, but the goal has always been to help independent artists in their journey,
Nice.
their career, and their
Yeah.
project. And what we did during that program in Berkeley, in UC Berkeley, is we spent a lot of time, like a full month, just meeting with artists, calling artists, asking them open questions about their daily life, their issues, the things that were doing great, the things that they thought they could improve, and everything. And we ended up with the realization that the biggest issue they were facing was not creating, not producing, not releasing. It was
Mhm.
only about
Marketing.
once the music is released, like how can I get
Yeah.
more than my mom and my friends to listen?
Friends to listen. That's
Exactly.
awesome.
So we were like, okay, we need to work on that. So it's how we started. It was end of 2017, and we tested an MVP that was ugly and everything you
Early
can
days, yeah.
imagine. We're like, it was a Google form, and with
Okay.
a PayPal button on a WordPress website done in an afternoon. It was very
Nice.
scrappy, and still we had people using it, and the creators on the other side were responding to the tracks that we're receiving. And so yeah, we went on with that and kept on growing it and developing it when we came back to France in early
Ah.
2018.
Okay, so it was kind of like the idea was thought of in the US itself,
Yeah,
or
in
was it in
California. So in the
Gotcha.
program we were doing, and then we came back to France and we really like started the company and developed it from Paris.
And what were you doing before? Let's say you started the blog as well. Were you like already working somewhere else, or were you a musician? I do know that you're a DJ,
Yeah,
but I'm just curious, like what you did before that.
I always loved music. I was really passionate about it, and I played music and I sang a bit, but not very good, but just like for fun. And I was in a few like I don't know, college bands and stuff like that.
Ah, nice.
But then I started the blog because I was listening to a lot of music, and every time I was like buying CDs in like 2013 and everything, I was having my friends listen to the music, and they were loving it. I was like, oh, I should share more. I should find. I thought I was the first ever person to do that. I didn't know about like music blogs and everything, and I realized there were
Yeah.
hundreds, like thousands of people that were doing the exact same. It was kind of like the era when like blogs were like really something, and they were really growing and everything. But before that, I was studying business. I was in business school in France,
Ah,
and
okay,
I started
nice.
my blog just before getting into the business school. And
Okay.
then after the business school, I went to that program, and I had finished my studies, and it was like I'm interested in seeing if like entrepreneurship is for me. Like both my parents are entrepreneurs. I had also
Okay.
led some projects from my blog, which had started to be a small company, and I was organizing events. I was also like the president of a club of musicians, and I knew I liked
Nice.
like project management and everything around starting projects and developing them. So
Oh.
that's how I started. And then Groover, we started going into it. We saw there was a bit of traction. The three of us, we had finished our studies. We were like, okay, let's go 100% in it and see what we can do with it.
Oh, that's great. I'm really interested to know about how it all started as well, like you mentioned. And do you think the business school helped, or do you think it was more of practical thing, which going out to and speaking to artists and your personal experience was more of it, or is it helping now maybe because you're trying to scale Groover more? What do you think about that?
It's not definitely not helping now. It's
Okay.
I would say it helped, but not because of the classes or what we learned
Okay.
there at all. It helped because I met one of my co-founders there, and the
Oh.
program was pushed by the business school. It was like they were
Ah,
partners
okay.
of it. So like as an externality, like the business school I went to helped make connections and get access to this program, and it kind of like paved the way towards
Ah,
towards starting the company. But I would say like the what I learned there, I learned mostly by just doing things and doing projects.
ah,
I'd
nice.
say like it's not really like the classes or anything that taught me anything.
But I guess it did help you, get that network of like-minded people who want to do this. That's the most important thing
Yeah,
in
definitely. Like
something
I
like
would
a
say, like
business school.
even it helped meet my co-founder, but like one of my
Yeah.
two co-founders, and also the first two people that supported our project to help us get a grant and get started and have like interns and everything were one of our teachers there, who was like
Oh,
it
that's
was she
awesome.
wasn't like really a teacher, but she was the head of a chair that was on digital and media, and she was a former lawyer of like Eminem or something.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
so and she was amazing, and she helped us, she pushed us. So I would say it's mostly about like it was a great place to meet people, and also
Yeah,
because that business school in particular, you choose all your classes and everything you want to do. So I like the fact that it helped me see what I didn't want to do and what I wanted to do, and he gave space for that, which is not the case with all business schools, but this one is really
that's
known
great.
for that, and it's great for that.
Considering that music is such a big niche, I think that's how it's pronounced. Like, was there anyone else who were like a group trying to do something in the music business, or was it just you guys?
Just us.
I thought
Just
so.
us. And then
Must have.
we got into Techstars, which is
Okay.
a startup accelerator, and in their Paris program, and we're also the same, like the only music company, and we didn't
Yeah, yeah.
even know
It's
what we
it's
were
very hard to
doing
find.
that there, because the other companies were real like big B2B like stuff about logistics of like I
Exactly.
don't know, like
Yeah.
storage and everything, and we're like, what are we doing here? And like the head of the program was like, oh, I really liked your project, and I'm also a musician and everything. So it's like it's one of the
Ah,
special things
yes.
about music is that when you start a project in the music industry, in the music business, even a startup, it's going to be hard because when you meet with potential investors or people who are around like that area and that can help you support you financially, when you say it's in music, they almost immediately slam the door and kick
Oh.
you out because like they don't like the market. They don't understand it. It's like it's small, as you
Yeah,
were
that's
saying.
true.
So yeah, no, they don't understand it. But at the same time, it's such like a passion field, like
Project. Yeah.
that you also attract people that are not in that field, that may have like resources, knowledge or money, but are also they have a band on the side and they've always been passionate about music.
Yeah, exactly.
So they want to support you because they're passionate about the topic. So it's
Yeah.
really interesting because there's like upsides on that side, and downsides on this, on the fact that it's really hard to attract people that are real like corporate.
Yeah, a lot of people probably don't look at music as a business they can invest in because they probably don't know about it. And I think it's very hard to make money in music in general. But that's an interesting storyline, because I'm curious to know, you said you got a grant, and then I'm pretty sure you went on to raise money for Groover as well.
Yeah,
And
we raised 3 rounds,
yeah,
and
I'm just curious to know how that story came about, and how did you find these people, especially in a music industry, to raise money like you mentioned? It's not that easy finding the right people and then pitching it to them and then telling and them believing in you. That's a great story to know about music industry, for sure.
yeah, I'd say that the first like fundraising was mostly business angels, and as I say, it
Okay.
was a lot of either like founders who had started marketplaces like ours and were interested in the model and had sold their company and they could help and they were
Uh,
interested in that, or they were like musicians and passionate about music and they had done like something different with their life professionally, and they were so
nice.
into the project itself because they felt the need themselves. So it was really like emotional on that side. And then what happened is that we had very quickly some traction, growth, and people could see we were very serious about it, and we were monetizing
Mhm.
from the start. And
Yeah.
there was really a need that was addressed. We had a lot of artists that were using it, and it was really like solving a need in the sector and in the industry. And it was quickly getting known, like in France, like it got there in 2 years. Every musician or artist knew about it, like kind of,
Okay.
and
Nice.
and so they saw that traction. So it became less about we in music and more about, okay, you have traction, it's interesting, there's potential there, and we kind of like located the conversation more on just a business
Uh,
opportunity, because we had
okay.
traction. But that's the thing I would say is like, if you start a music company in music and you want to raise funds and you want to anything, I wouldn't say like you shouldn't want to raise funds. Like that's the first thing. Like you should want to like grow it and make it
Oh
address
yeah.
like a cool tool for artists and help people and bring value. It's the most important. But then if you need capital to like grow it anyway, um,
Uh,
I would say what's really important about it is to make sure that it's you show the traction. It's not only about the project itself. If you're not monetizing, it's going to be hard to interest investors. So I would say focus on trying to show that you have traction and activity there.
I mean, pretty impressive journey so far, of course. And so, what is Groover focusing on now? I've been seeing a lot of interesting things coming on board on your platform as well. I think recently I got an email about, I don't know if the link in bio tool is old or is it new. I got a
No,
recent
it's
email on
new.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's new.
We just
And
acquired that company called Temple,
oh,
which
yeah, that was an okay. That's great. That's nice. Okay.
yeah, definitely. And we were very impressed with the product itself. So it's link in bio. So you know Linktree,
Yeah,
obviously.
we
Yeah.
use
So,
Linktree right now.
so
Planning to
it's
move to the
close to
US.
what Linktree does, but 100%
Okay.
adapted for independent artists. The design is beautiful. It's fully customizable. It's free. It's really adapted for artists and musicians to be able to both showcase what they're doing and capture their audience and fan data. People can subscribe directly on the link. You collect data about it. You can run ads campaign. Then like
Nice.
using like the traffic and the understanding of who your fans are. You have analytics tool also on the platform, on the tool.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool tool. I really encourage everyone to go on it. It's called Temple. Now it's called Temple by Groover, so you'll find it
Ah,
easily.
nice.
And the idea, it can replace your link tree and really it is a cool way to engage people to discover your project, and also can have an externality because you can use that to even push your project further. So that's one of the key things that happened recently. But more
Uh,
generally speaking, I would say that Groover, the core tool, which is helping artists getting in touch with music curators, could be blogs, radio stations, playlists, labels, is still there and still very active. We're growing in a lot of different areas in terms of like types of music, or also areas around the world. It's growing, especially in the Americas and Europe, but we're also expanding in other areas as well.
nice. Yeah.
And the goal is to keep on improving that platform, to make it more engaging, to create more impact and value for artists that are using it. And at the same time, what we're trying to do is address more needs for artists on that chain of
Yeah.
like artist services and what they need in their careers. So we developed more what we say Groover services or services. You can check them out when you log into your profile. There's like a tab with like additional services that we provide through the platform, and our idea is to really address more of the value chain there,
Yeah.
and be able to, in the end, possibly be some sort of all-in-one platform for artists when they need to develop their career and their project. And the other way we growing, so this is a way we're growing like horizontally, but the other way we're growing vertically is we have Groove Obsessions, which is our artist accelerator. We discovering some artists on the platform that have great results, and we try to
Oh,
push them
nice.
further and help them go and maximize their potential as artists to grow and gain new audiences and find their fans and just grow as artists.
Oh,
And that's we're very selective on that program, but it's been so interesting to see some artists that are really making a difference now and growing, and we helped there. Like we were not the only ones, but we helped them there for sure.
that's very interesting. Is it like what do you say, like grant, or do you provide grant, or is it like more like services based, or do you
It's more
also help
services
people record?
based. It's more
Okay.
services based. What we try to do is go from being a partner, or like being a service provider, so they pay money like to use our services, which is what Groover is, and the model. But in Groover Obsessions, we more partners, so we more have a way to like be
Mhm.
interested in their results, and we provide services to make sure we push them and we align our
Nice.
interests. So we have a special model around that, and it's working well. We have some artists that are really growing fast right now, and it's been super interesting to have our hands
Okay.
in the like the reality of what it
That
is growing.
that's exciting. So it's kind of like incubators for startups. You guys are doing that for artists as well.
Exactly,
That's a great initiative.
exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. That's nice. And like in these services, I think you also provide ads. And I did check out the website. There's a bunch of stuff. I'll just definitely put it up on the screen for viewers to see it, because it's like you mentioned, you're trying to make that all in one place where people can just come sign up on Groover and then do everything. Link in bio is like, that's great. And is it free? Like all of these, is Link in bio the service tool you're doing free, or is it like that's free?
Yeah, it depends on services, but Temple, the link in bio is free. Our goal is for artists to use it and really leverage it. And then there
Hmm.
are some services that are linked to it, like running ads, ad campaigns. You can also send text messages and emails directly. I think it mostly text to your audience based on
That's
that
nice.
link in bio.
It's like
And for this part,
newsletter.
there are payments, and you can buy credits for this part. And if you run ads campaign, we get a commission out of the campaign you're
Okay.
running directly through Groover, through Temple, sorry, through Temple by Groover. On Groover side and on the services side, you said we also have you also have a way to run more like general ads campaign on Spotify, on YouTube, on Meta,
Oh,
so
nice.
Facebook or Instagram. We work with a partner on this. So in that services page, we have some of them that we do internally, and some of them we partnered up with some of the best tools there that are doing it well. And our idea is to bring everything there with the best possible offers.
How do you see like like artists, the way of using these tools changing? I'm pretty sure it's a very hard market to be in, especially in terms of guaranteed feedback. But people expect that they're paying money and all they're getting is feedback, and not nothing out of it. But again, that's a different perspective. Like even I've been on that side where I've submitted music and I felt different about, okay, why I got good feedback but nothing worked out. So what would you say for artists who should be using Groover, but like why should they be using it? There are frustrations going around, but what would you say is what are the change in mindset which the artist should look at it in?
Yeah, it's a great question. So there's often that like not confusion, but like understanding that since what you're getting is feedback, like a lot of users are feeling that they're paying for the feedback. Um, I would say it's not that. It's not what you're using, why you're using Groover and why you're paying. It may be one of the reasons, but it's not the main reason. And there are many other things that are important there. I would say there are three main ones and additional ones. Reasons why you should use Groover. The first one is artists are looking for visibility. And on Groover, what we do is we actually guarantee that the people you're reaching out to are listening to the track and considering it properly for sharing or not. It may not happen. So sometimes you
Hmm.
don't get the share. That's why, like,
Yeah.
you can feel like, oh, I just paid for that feedback. Yeah, but you
Yeah.
paid for the consideration from that person that they may
For
be
the
able
time
to
for
share.
listening to that music.
Yes, because
Yeah.
they're receiving hundreds of emails and they can't open them. So you also paying for breaking this wall of first listening. That's like the first thing that's important there.
Yeah.
And when you're reaching out to radio stations or blogs or playlists, you doing it through Groover is helping make sure that they listen to it. And if they like it, they're going to share it, which happens in 25% of cases, which is quite a
Wow.
lot when you consider that there are a lot of submissions there, and it could be zero because they're not incentivized to share. They're independent, free on that sense. They don't get paid if they share, they get paid if they answer, so they remain independent there, and it's genuine when they like actually like a track and they share it. Otherwise it would be pay for play, payola, and we really strongly against that because it removes the entire like curation power and taste
Yeah,
making thing
that's
here.
true. It's a
um,
great
the
idea.
other
Yeah.
goal that artists can have is to get in touch with labels, bookers, managers, publishers, and try to build their team, their entourage, so people that can help them with that project. We had more than, I think, 1,500 signatures on record labels, managers, or management companies, or with managers, publishers, bookers.
Nice.
So a lot of connections that happen there. So sometimes you send like, I don't know, 30 submissions, and maybe you have like just one or two that are super interested, but that's going to make a whole difference for the rest of your career. So that's also
That's
about
true.
like,
Yeah.
maybe you get 28 pieces of feedback that feel like rejections, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have paid for those. But you get one of these that is like a strong connection. You see what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
the third one is about feedback. So for sure, like some artists want feedback, not everyone, but some really want like deep feedback on their production, on their demo, on their project. So we have coaches and sound specialists, sound engineers that they can get in touch with and get detailed feedback from, which is a cool thing that they can get access on. And I would say the fourth thing,
Nice.
which is a bit
Okay.
hidden, sorry for the longer answer, but
No, no, no,
it's
please go on. Yeah.
it's the fact that when you send music and someone likes it and gives you positive feedback and everything, it's really empowering in the sense that a lot of artists have imposter syndrome about their music. They don't know if it's good.
Mm.
They're always hesitating, roller coaster and everything. And having, I don't know, like someone from Rolling Stone, Argentina, or someone from Tsugi Radio in France, which is like a great radio there, liking your music and share it, it's okay. It's like an totally
That's
external person that likes your music and can push you to keep on
yeah.
going. So
But I also had an interesting question to you, which I also faced as a musician. So back in 2020, so I used to make some instrumental music, and I did try to pitch to people, but it was not working out in the niche, and that's the reason why I started my own playlist, and then I became a curator. That's how I started Sinusoid Music. But there was some temptation in me during those times when I wanted to make music for the curators, like based on the feedback. And there is the dilemma that musicians shouldn't do it for the sake of getting on playlists or blogs, but do it for themselves. So how do you address that kind of a thought process for artists, or have you faced something similar? It's a tricky terrain to navigate on, but yeah, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
yeah, I don't think you should make music for curators. Definitely.
Yeah.
Um, I think you should make music that you like and is authentic to you and you love. I think you if it's important to you to get more audience and to get onto playlists and everything, it can be a parameter regarding the format. So I would say, like, for
Hmm.
example, you can make music, but if you're looking absolutely to get in onto playlists, you can have in mind as a constraint to say, okay, that track, if I want to get onto a playlist, it needs to be like 3 minutes and 30 seconds or 4 minutes, like to have this
Yeah.
kind of concept. I would say, like, I don't need, like, you need to do it for the playlist or for the creators, but I saw, and I myself, I produce a bit, I see that when you have all the possibilities in front of you, it's sometimes hard and sometimes good to put yourself some constraints, like,
Yeah, that's true.
so formats or direction or a type of sound or stuff like that. So I would say, like, sometimes if you really want it, it's only if you want it. If you want to get onto a place, you would say, okay, maybe I need a few tracks on my projects that are in the format here that would
Huh.
make it onto playlist. It could be about thinking about, like, okay, having 330 like a 334 minutes. It could be about maybe getting right into it and cutting a bit the intro on some of the tracks, or maybe do edits. It's like, I feel like at the
Remixes.
same time it can be tricky. At the same time, I think with streaming platforms, what's cool is that the freedom of formats and the fact that you can do several versions of your tracks and you can release all the time and you don't have to wait is also giving freedom of, like, experimentation there. Of course, you
Yeah,
need to
true.
like what you're doing, but you can also take these parameters in to say, okay, let's try to do something that could be more suitable for playlists. But the most important thing
Yeah,
is that you like it. Of course, it's like it's
that's
good
true.
and you, yeah.
And also, I guess limitation kind of breeds creativity, is what they say. So I guess it does help putting that constraint, and it might help you. Like you said, there could be like 2 3 songs which could be made with trying to make it to the mainstream. I wouldn't say mainstream, but to the playlists and blogs, which could help building your EP and album. This, yeah, that was an interesting insight. Thanks for that. And moving on to your collaborations as well. So you have tied up with, I think, an Indian company called Madverse, right? If I'm not wrong.
I'm
Do you
oh,
know about
Madverse, yeah,
that?
yeah. So
Yeah.
okay, yeah. No, I was trying to remember. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have partnerships with, I would say, most aggregators and distributors. The only one
Okay.
we not partnered
Nice.
up with directly is DistroKid, but we partners
Okay.
with Bandzoogle that belongs to DistroKid, and we know the team
ah.
at DistroKid. It's just that they don't do partnerships. They just like sometimes purchase companies,
Ah.
but they
Makes
don't do
sense.
partnerships. Apart from that, we partnered up with mostly all aggregators and distributors out there. It could be Tunecore, United Masters, Amuse, Symphonic. Madverse is one
Nice.
of them. We also work with who am I forgetting? iMusician. There's so many.
Hmm.
So we partnered up with all of them, and we are their preferred partner. They showcase and highlight for pitching
Yeah.
to playlists and blogs and get the music heard and get feedback. So
Got it. Yeah. So I was just curious to know, because I just asked that because I was wondering if Groover would ever get into distribution, but you guys have taken the way of partnering with distributors, which is a smarter move, I guess, instead of trying to compete with them.
yeah, I
So
think there's
that's,
so many distributors, so
yeah,
many
exactly. I
aggregators.
think it's a
It's
saturated
like they're
market. Yeah.
doing it well. They're addressing everyone. I would say like the model that's interesting is like how can you support more artists than like when they're growing. But I would say like it doesn't make sense to us to for us to like build an aggregator and address everyone with distribution. There are so many people that
Yeah.
do it
True.
well already, and it's better to partner up with them and to bring a new solution to the mix. We also partner up with SoundCloud, for example.
Ah,
Like we have a
nice.
lot of companies that we work with that and the partnerships are real like beneficial both sides. Like we're bringing
Yeah.
them people,
Mutual.
they're
Yeah.
bringing us artists as well. So it's yeah, no, we're going in that direction.
Speaking about Indian companies, so are you getting a lot of Indian artist submissions? Is it increasing, or how's it going? What do you
I,
see
I would say
there?
it's not one of our biggest markets. I would say that we have some curators, we have some
Okay,
partners there. We had some artists that are using Groover. I would say so. The price is fixed everywhere in the world. So it's two
that's true.
euros and can go to 4 or 6 euros per contact. So the average basket is between 50 and 100 euros, which is very affordable for European and American, like US markets, compared to what they pay usually to PR agents and everything. But if we go to like Latin America, even like Brazil, we have a
India,
huge community
yeah,
there, but it's much more expensive
expensive for
for
them.
them than it is for other countries. So it's like it's something we're talking about and we're thinking of, but the tough thing is that since it's a double-sided marketplace,
Yeah,
it's also like we have a lot of creators from India and from Brazil that are benefiting from the fact that it's this price
that's
point.
true.
And
Yeah,
it's would be complicated if we like lower the price for like I don't know, India or Brazil to like match the markets and the
yeah,
purchasing
that's
power.
true.
What do we do for the curators on the other side?
Huh.
That are so it's like a whole thing. Also knowing that the curators, an Indian curator can receive tracks from the US, from France, from so it's like there's a whole thing that needs to
If
be.
you do it for like an Indian pricing system, then it limits to paying the curators or who are from India and things like that. So it's hard to make it universal. Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to find the right balance. It could be something we think about and we work on, but it would be a big thing. Like it's not like Netflix, like for example, Netflix they can adapt the pricing because it's just one sided. It's like
yeah,
somebody
yeah, that's true.
on yeah.
Even Shopify also adapts. I think there's a lot of companies, but in this case, it's curators and artists. So yeah, even I've thought about that quite a bit.
And just to mention that we have customers and it's growing in markets like Nigeria, India, South America. It's still like slow and small compared to the rest of markets, but there's like a growing trend. So we can see it's coming somewhere.
I think SubmitHub also like are getting into marketplace, offering these ad services. They also have a link in bio. So I'm curious to know what your answer to this is in terms of a difference between you guys and what's, I don't know, just curious to hear your thoughts. Yeah.
No, of course, it's a great question. I'd say the main difference is the community of
Okay,
creators and professionals. There's an
that's a
overlap
huge
because
difference.
we never like directly reached out to creators that were on SummitHub, but some of them got to know about us and signed up as well, and they can use both platforms, which is fine. But I would say
Hmm.
the overlap is maybe 10%, 15% maximum. Like a lot of the contacts we have on Groover are not on Summit Hub, and the reason for that is that we've had a very peculiar way of growing our
Okay,
community, which is through
nice.
ambassadors locally. We were very intense in France. Like for example, if you go on Groover, you have between 300 and 400 curators from France. On Summit Hub, you have 30. It's very different in terms of the communities and the countries and the markets they're located in. We much more global in the sense
Hmm.
that we address more different markets. Summit Hub is very strong in the US. They have big communities also, I think, in the UK and Germany,
Nice.
but that's about it in terms of like the communities of creators and professionals. On our end, we have a huge community in Brazil. We have growing a lot in Latin America, Mexico. The US is also a big market for us now. We have France, we have
Yeah, I
Italy, we
think
have a
yeah, they
big community,
stopped it. Yeah,
Spain as well,
globally.
the Netherlands. We have Canada, like all these like markets are growing a lot. The other difference is also Summit Hub is only
Oh, that's
addressing
interesting.
playlists, blogs, radios
Okay.
on that side. You can on Groover you can get in touch with record labels, bookers, publishers, managers. You can also get in touch with sound specialists, sync supervisors, and we see a lot of action
Wow.
and traction on that part. Mainly because we also go and fetch the actual like record labels on the field. Because I know that Summit Hub like killed that at some point because they were getting like,
Standing for
but
the
on our end
artist.
it's working, it's really working, and we have no issue on that side because we actually going and looking for the real record labels on the field that are looking for
Oh,
artists, and
yeah,
artists
that's
are really
interesting.
happy to get in touch with them. So that's like a strong difference. I would say then the other thing, the second big thing, is the fact that we created this platform for artists, for independent artists. Our main goal, curators, we love you, but it's not why we created the platform. We didn't create the platform for you, created for artists. So you're great, but you're a means to an end. We want you to be happy, but the goal for us is artists, 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 and serving artists every day. So yeah, the way we building it is
Wow.
around that. It's how we create value for artists. What I told you about Groove Obsessions, the artist accelerator, Summit Hub would never get into that.
Yeah,
We have
true.
also a coaching program for artists where we help them maybe at the more at the beginning of their careers, but also get organized and understand everything around promotion. It's like a training and coaching program that we have that's working quite well called the Groover Club. These are things that Summit Hub wouldn't do. We have a blog on which we give a lot of advice to musicians about how to develop their careers outside of promotion and everything. All of these elements are not things that Summit Hub would do because they created it for curators. Of course, they're addressing the artist needs, but the approach is different. So the ramifications became different, and the image and the way we're seen by the communities as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a great answer. It's really nice, and it's interesting you told about the, like you said, the incubator of sort thing, which would be hard for them to get to, I guess. And also, you
I think
guys
they don't want
are
to. I think they wouldn't want to. That's the thing. It's like,
they wouldn't want because they're more curator oriented.
yeah, like Jason is a curator. He's more oriented towards that. He's, of course, he like to give you a concrete example of like how it happened when we started is like when we started like some they were like they were okay with us and competition and everything, have like a message from Jason saying it's good to see like other people trying to do things, and we
Okay,
were very focused on France, so we were really addressing that peculiar market that they were not addressing. So and then we grew, and at some point like we were focusing on artist needs, and artists were much happier with what they were getting from Guru than from Summit Hub at some point because he was not focusing on having
on
artists get a lot of
artists.
like opportunities and opportunity rates. It was a very low acceptance rate. It was like 3 or 5%, something like this, and artists were pissed about that. And then at some
Hmm.
point he realized it that he was losing a lot of market share to us because of
Okay,
that. So he shifted his focus to like focusing on. I think like I don't want to like assume that, but it was really visible that he realized that he needed to address artist needs better, and he improved a
yeah,
lot the product on Summit Hub as well. And but it there was a shift, and it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it had and Summit had been going on for like since 2015. So we probably helped trigger that shift in a way because like he realized that he needed to address the
that's
artist needs
great.
better.
So in the end, competition is helping artists and curators get better at
It's
everything.
healthy. It's definitely healthy for artists
Yeah,
to get more value. And I would
that's true.
say if you're using SubmitHub, you should definitely try to use Groover. If you use Groover and your market is more in the US and everything, you can always check on SubmitHub in some if some contacts they are not on Groover. It's not like a phone company or mobile company. It's more about like where you choose only one. The goal is to like find the best contacts and the best opportunities for your music. So whatever you found.
That's nice. And you mentioned about market share. I was just curious to know, like, do you guys have any insights on what Groover's market share is, or anything about the total addressable market for this kind of an industry, or any business stuff like that?
No, we don't. We don't know. Like, we have no idea what like what market share like has Summit Hub has or like their revenue or anything. So we
There's
can't
others like
answer.
Sound Campaign and stuff
So
like that.
we
Yeah,
don't know. And also, yeah, there are some other ones. The Sound Campaign,
you
which
grow.
is I wouldn't like. It's not my favorite service. I would say because I
Personally,
feel
I've
that
used it myself.
I would
Yes,
say
not my
I would
favorite.
say playlist push is good.
Oh yeah, one of them.
I would
Yes.
say it's different also because you're not choosing the context and it's really more about playlists. So, but if your music is the right fit, it can have a lot of impact. But yeah, no, I don't exactly know. I know that we're like the two biggest ones are like Summit Hub and Groover. That's
Got
what I
it.
said. That's what I know. That's the only thing I would
That's
say.
great. But and like you mentioned about other companies coming along, I think there's a lot of AI curation coming along. What do you see as the importance of AI in case for the music industry as well as about curators and AI? Just to get some insights about it.
Yeah, of course. So for AI music creation, it's always a bit tough because it's always like tied to how do they generate the playlists, how do they push them, are there bots, this kind of things. I wouldn't say AI in curation is necessarily a super bad thing, especially because generally speaking, the way I see AI, and a lot of people see it the same way, so it's not groundbreaking. What I'm going to say is that AI is feeding on human creativity. So
Yes, that's
when
true.
we think that like AI is just a robot doing things, it's true in a way, but it's also replicating our own creativity. So the better they
Mm.
get at it, the more human they will be in their creativity, which is scary because I'm pretty sure that at some point in a few years, when we look at our top like our Spotify Wrapped, like our top track,
That's
there
pretty
will be
scary.
some fully AI done tracks that we love and that we feel emotional about, which is
And we can't
very
differentiate as well.
scary to me because they will be able to replicate entirely our emotions. I'm sure about it. It's scary. It's not the case yet, and I'm happy about that. But if I'm true with myself, I feel it's going so fast and so good and it's feeding on so much data that even like
Huh.
us as a human being, like our emotions are built from our observations of the world and other people around us. But we limit it in the interactions that we can have. So if you look at an
That is
entity,
true.
they can have interactions with billions of people, understand their feelings and everything.
Yeah.
How do you feel they're not going to be able to replicate that in a perfect way? It doesn't mean that it's genuine, but at the same
That's
time, it can create the same kind of like emotion. So it's very scary for me on that side. But I would say like, so I see that curation can probably be very good through AI, and we see it with like the algorithmic playlist on Spotify.
Yeah, true.
Discover Weekly is amazing. Like honestly, Discover like the Spotify like the Reese Radar is always like pinpointing some great releases for me to listen to. It's really impressive. So AI and curation is very important. I still think that like human curators is very important because it's what will bring diversity. Because the big problem with like AI creation and everything is that on platforms like Spotify now, most users they are not music addicts. So like people who are really discovering or listening to a lot of music, they want to listen to music for specific moods, specific times. They don't really care about discovering new music. So the platforms and the algorithms are going to adapt to the majority of people there. So they're going to
True.
showcase music to them that is mostly the same kind of music all the time. So I think human creators are very important because like people like you, like me, who listen to music and love a piece of music and are going to tell all their friends about it, or are going to create a playlist and feature that track, are important because they're going to bring them to the world and bring them and new things and new music that people don't know they love yet and they like yet. And that's
Yeah.
why I think it's super super important there that it keeps on going that way, and we don't go like full on just AI because it's going to be uniformizing everything related to music.
Is Groover using AI in any capacity, or for anything which you guys helping your internal workflows or helping your platform or helping artists in, are you planning to do that or anything like that?
For workflows, definitely.
Yeah.
Of course, it's like it's helping us save time,
It's a
and
boon.
also especially with like tasks that are very repetitive and everything, and
Yeah.
it's really helping us. So we pushing that a lot and try to get better on this, like all our processes. I would say like on the platform, we already using some models and AI for recommendation.
Nice.
So
Okay.
when artists get on the catalog page and they see all the list of creators, we using AI to like recommend the best contacts for them so they could get the best results possible. So we have algorithms there that we're using, and it's interesting. Then I would say like for now on the platform itself, it's probably it. We're using AI to code as well, so definitely like it's helping us get
Yeah,
faster,
that's, I think,
improve like the product better and everything. So like in the on the I would say like in the inside, like in how we develop
yeah,
the website
got
and
it, got it,
everything, we
I
use it a lot.
guess. Do you think there can be some kind of a tool which can tell the artist the probability of you getting accepted based on what the curator has listened to? I'm talking in terms of training models based on the curator, what songs they've gotten, and then what they've accepted, rejected. I think something like this could definitely help the artist decide. I don't know if it's a counterintuitive thing for the business, but that's something interesting to think about.
No, we're using it. We're not showing the artist there's a X% probability of that because it's creating like false hopes and expectations.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're using that like we for our
Okay,
recommendations. So we're looking at what the creator has liked in terms of music, and we're trying to compare like in terms of genres.
nice,
We've tags for now, but we'd like to go to more audio analysis. But there's a lot of legal issues with that because when you're analyzing audio and
uh,
everything, it's there's a lot of like things around that that are complicated in terms of like rights, like music rights and everything. So we really experimenting, but we're not at the same time using just audio recognition to like match tracks together and then like
okay,
be able to
that's
say that for now. But it's something we're working on. We're working on
awesome.
testing. We're always trying to find the best ways to recommend the best curators and
Nice.
accounts to
And
the artists. So yeah,
and you guys are adapting as the time goes with using the latest AI tools. And
yeah.
so what would you suggest for, let's say, for Indian artists or other artists? How can they make their campaign more effective in Groover? Or do you have any tips for them?
Yeah, I would say like it's super important to fill in your profile and fill in your genres, like the genres of music that you're doing, and to not put too many. I would say maximum two or three,
Okay.
and try to really pinpoint the genres of the track you're gonna promote, to make
Mhm.
sure that like the recommendations are gonna be adequate. Because if you put like a lot of genres there, like we're not gonna be able to recommend like according like the
Yeah.
right. And I would say the same for the filters, not selecting too many genres, selecting the ones that are really close to the track that you're promoting. And even if you don't want to like categorize it, like what we say is like if someone external was listening to it, what would he say it is in terms of music? It's what you need to think about, like the way you need to think about it. Then I would say it depends on your budget. If you have a lot of money and you want to spend it and everything, you can use the filters and you can try a bit like some things that you think might not be the best fit, but there's a possibility, and trying around is a good way if you don't have a lot of time but you have money. If
Okay.
you don't have a lot of money and your budget is constrained, but you have time to check it out, I would say don't hesitate to check the profiles. Don't hesitate to check like what they have accepted before, what kind of music they're looking for, what music they're featuring. Just like don't hesitate to go deep in there. And my last piece of advice would be don't send too small campaigns, because if you
Hmm.
send it only to like 5 contacts, if one doesn't answer, uh, if two say it's not exactly what we're looking for in terms of
Yeah.
editorial, one maybe writes a good piece of feedback and one accepts, you're going to be, why did I spend $10 on that? So it wouldn't be a good investment. I would
Got
say
it.
it starts to be interesting when you start reaching out to like 30, maybe 50
Hmm.
creators. It's where we see the best results in terms of satisfaction, what artists are getting in terms of value, is when they're committing to spending at least like 50 or $60 or like a bit more. It's still like very low investment compared to like what PR usually costs. But at the same time,
Yeah,
it's like
that's
the
true.
difference in terms of results is very different. You're going to get acceptances, you're going to get a lot more insights about how your music is perceived. If I give an example, like with I released my first track in April, and I sent a
Nice.
campaign. I was very surprised. Like I got results that were definitely like okay in terms of acceptance, but the feedback was really great, and it gave me a direction towards like who I should reach out to, because everyone was
Huh.
telling me it was like kind of like late night rides, midnight vibes thing, and I hadn't thought about it at all when I made the track, and I was like, oh, interesting. And then I focused on these curators, and I got many more acceptances. So I was like, okay, this is cool, this is interesting. But if I hadn't sent it to like 50 people, or like
You
maybe a
wouldn't
bit
know
more, I
what is
wouldn't have
working.
known.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known. Yeah.
But are you seeing any difference in the consumer behavior of, let's say, the US market compared to the Asian, or, like you said, the Nigerian markets you've entered into?
I would say it's mostly in the number of people they're reaching out to. I would say like in the US, they tend to have
Outreach.
like more budget. So they really like when they're testing, they're really testing. They're going and they're selecting more people more than in Europe. And then it's really
Okay.
like, I would say like in Brazil, for example, when they're using it, they're much more peculiar. They really like handpicking every curator in
Nice.
the way they're doing
Interesting.
it. Also because of like their budget probably, and the purchasing power they have and the budget they have for these campaigns. But yeah, no, we see these kind of differences. But apart from that, I would say like it's funny how artists are kind of the same everywhere around the world. They have the same needs in terms of like what how the need is addressed. They want the same thing. They want more people to
Yeah.
listen to their music. They want to find people to build up their team. They want to get approved by people. They want to get feedback. It's like it's I would say like artists are really really similar in all.
In terms of thinking of what they need. Yeah. I guess the way the spend might be different, but everyone wants the same thing to get the music to the most people out there.
Yes.
And Groover is definitely helping everyone do that. And you guys are scaling very well as well. Did you imagine the scale of Groover to be this way when you started, or did you think it would be more like a local thing in Paris and getting more Paris curators and pushing that kind of music, and the whatever the area, California and stuff like that?
I would say in the very start, we had no idea it would grow that way.
Nice.
But then when we started to see a bit of traction in France, I would say there were some moments where we saw people really excited about it, and seeing how there was really some interest around it. And especially when we comparing to other companies or other music companies, that music tech companies that were trying to build things, and we saw the enthusiasm about it, was
Yeah.
really like intoxicating. I was very like I was honestly, I was everywhere. I was obsessed. I was like doing events all the time, organizing them and going to events, meeting with a lot of people. It was so like thrilling and everything, that when it started to be like that, from the start we were like, this can be big. We know it, like,
Ah,
because
nice.
there was a lot of enthusiasm
That
and
passion for the
passion
whole
for it.
thing.
So that's what triggered, like, so it went from like, we're gonna see if it works, we excited about it, but we don't know how
Uh,
it's gonna be, to okay, there's some traction, we should go big with it. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you just went all in on Groover.
Yeah, all in. Yeah, I've never done anything else in my life in terms of like job. I've done like
That's amazing.
dozens of jobs inside Groover. I've done like support, marketing,
Huh.
operations.
Wearing all the hats,
I
basically.
was on
Yeah.
like, yeah, at some point I was alone on the marketing, business, and operation side. So I was
Yeah.
answering everyone on the support and everything. I was still doing support 5 years in. I think I was still doing the nights and the weekends. Then I stopped because like we hired someone for
You got a team for that.
that. But I'm still doing important use cases, and when they're like big bugs and everything, I'm still like involved in the day to day on that. But I
Okay.
have a great team
But why
also.
why the name Groover? Any
Of it was we were just looking for names, and we thought about how the like in the on the vinyl how the groove was called, and we only had the name in French, and we saw it was called a groove, and we're like, oh, groove, nice, Groover. And
nice.
we looked, and nothing was
It's
called
a
Groover,
catchy name.
and there was nothing like on Google called Groover and everything. There was no company, so we're like, and from the start we were like,
Huh.
when we type Groover, we were number one on Google, which is like a
You guys didn't find a .com?
there is a .com, but it's not a company. It's like it's a it's a shitty service that makes like email addresses.
Yeah. Because I when I go to Groover, I just so many times I put com.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think
if you
it's
want to build
worth buying
your
it off.
Groove.com email address, and we try to buy it.
Uh-huh.
Like we asked them, we called them. They asked for too much money. Honestly, it
Oh,
didn't make
okay.
any sense. So we're like, okay, let's do
So
Groove.co.
.co. And what about the logo? I think I like the previous one better,
Oh
to be
yeah, oh
honest.
yeah,
So
that's fine.
yeah.
I think the logo, we worked with a small design studio in Paris, and we really liked it as well. Like at first when we did the rebranding, in January. We didn't want to change the logo, but we went in the whole concept and everything, and we ended up like liking the new one, and we got some
Huh.
really positive feedback on it, and also like it helped us like go much more like it's much more attractive now, the whole design and the whole thing, than it was before. Like if you go on our socials and on our landing page, if you compare it to the one that
Your
was
merch, I
before,
guess.
it's like changing era, like honestly. And we had a
Yeah,
lot of
because
positive impact from that we
that's
measured.
great. Because I've heard a lot of stories, horror stories with logos changing. This
I
companies
know.
is going reverse, but it's good that you guys had that
Yeah,
ambition
we
and
were very
it worked out
careful,
well.
very careful. So we did a whole like audit and study of like people externally, internally, and what we got was that like the main thing was orange. Like people were associating us to the color orange. So we're like, we can't get out of this, so we keeping the orange. And then we
Ah,
worked on like around that, and
yeah,
we
the
innovated
orange
around
theme is
it.
good.
But
Yeah.
we kept it very close to our image and what we wanted to say and what we wanted to provide. So the change was like very organic and authentic, I think.
Can we buy Grover merch anywhere? Like, do you give it to curators? That could be
Not
a
yet.
good idea.
We do merch. Like I have a cool T-shirt there. It's
Awesome.
like it's
I forgot to wear my companies today. I made a mistake, but I'm gonna not make that mistake again. But that's a cool shirt.
but we not like we want it like it's one of the fun project that it's a side project that we have like to build like a small
Okay.
shop where you can buy some merch that we do. We do some fun merch internally, like we did some socks recently and some hats and everything, which was funny.
That
But
that could be a cool. I don't know. It could be a cool business idea
yeah,
doing merch for
it could,
artists,
it
I
could.
guess.
We need to have a bit more time, but honestly, it would be
Yeah.
super fun. I think we may have some purchases. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe.
I'd buy one. Why
Oh
not? That'll
yeah,
be
thank
cool.
you.
So we could say. So do you have any closing thoughts for, let's say, artists in general, and anything specific for the Indian artists which you'd like to tell?
It's a good point. I would say for artists generally, it's you're doing your passion, which is amazing, and remain authentic, and everything around it's so important. It's gonna be hard to keep on going because you're gonna be going through roller coasters, and it's gonna be hard to like reach your audiences. I would say like grind and keep up because you never know what's gonna happen, and you can find a way to keep on growing all the time if you're like really determined in doing so. Um, yeah, I would say like keep up with the good work. When you find something that works, like insist on it and keep on doing it, especially with visual content. Visual content is so important now because
Yeah,
the
true.
key thing is to get people to listen to your music, but they're not going to listen if they don't have like a visual thing that attracts them to actually click on it. So it's such an important thing there. And I would say, yeah, no, remain authentic, keep on going, try to surround you with the right people. It's like very common what I'm saying, but it's like
Yeah,
it
but
also
it's
makes
the
sense.
important ones.
And
Yeah,
for Indian artists, I would say it depends what kind of music you're doing. If you're doing music in Indian language and you're like
regional.
locally,
Yeah,
I would say like keep like grow on that local scene and put a lot of energy there. But if you're singing in English, I would say the word is your oyster. You can definitely try to grow in other areas. You can try to get onto playlists in a lot of different countries, and you can try to grow your audience through like many more people. I wouldn't say it's better, but I would say like if you're doing music in English, don't stick only to the Indian market.
yeah. And just for our audience, like I mentioned, Dorian's also a great DJ. Um, are you releasing more music? I think you're also playing live nowadays. Or have you always been playing live?
No, I started DJing 2 years ago, so it's quite recent. But I love it. I've always
Nice,
listened to so much music that when I started DJing for the first time, I was like, "Wow, I love it!" So I got a lot into it, and yeah, I'm playing in Paris, New York, trying to find other
nice.
gigs, and at the same time, I'm producing. So I released one track, which is on
Nice.
under my name, like Dorian Flagrant. If you want to check it out, it's called
Okay,
Metro.
we'll check it out. Yeah,
And
definitely.
I'm gonna try to produce more. I have some demos, but none of them is finished. I'm trying to do that on the side of Groover, so I don't have a lot of time. But
Yeah, yeah, I get
starting
that.
playing, like playing and DJing, is something I love. I'm trying to have as many gigs as I can. I have several ones every month, and I meet a lot of people that way. It got me to learn much better how the music electronic scene works, which
Nice.
was super cool. And we much better with electronic music now on Groover thanks to that
Okay,
understanding. Yeah,
that experience helped as well. That's great.
yeah, definitely.
That's nice. And is there like one artist you'd like to shout out who you've been listening to a lot now? Any one artist?
I would say
Yeah, yeah, please.
there's one that I really like. He's French. He sings in
Okay.
English. He had a gold disc in the Netherlands, so it's a good
Okay.
example of to show you that like if you sing in English, you can really grow anywhere.
Yeah,
It's
that's
called
nice.
Octave Lissner,
Okay.
Lissner, and he sings between folk, country, and soul music, but it's very good. Like the lyrics are amazing, and you can see how he can touch everyone while not being too commercial at all. It's very like
Nice.
a very like a deep and great melodies, and he's a great guy, and I love his music, and it's really growing, and things are happening for him now, so I'm really happy about that. We've been
Nice.
helping him as part of Groove Rope sessions as well, and we're very happy about the collaboration.
Yeah, that was my next question.
And he's a great, like honestly, he's great. I'm listening to his album on repeat, and he just released the deluxe version of it.
Edition. Okay.
But you should have a look. I think you're gonna like it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check them out. And I think it's like a dream job of trying to listening to your favorite artist and helping them grow. I think
Yeah.
that's it's like. Did you ever imagine that happening in your life, like
Uh,
when you started all
I
this?
didn't think it was going to be my job. I was
That's great.
already organizing events, and I love music, and I'm still organizing
Ah,
events.
okay.
I'm throwing out a party in New York on October 10 with
Wow.
like 6 acoustic acts and also DJs after that. I'm still doing it on
Nice.
my own because I love it. It's not about like
Oh, really?
it's not
Okay.
about like not delegating or anything. So it's just like I go with it. I'm like, okay, let's do an event or something. So it's really something that I love, and so yeah, no, I mean, it's cool that I can be make it as part of my job as well.
Surrounded
It's
by
a
everything
privilege.
music, which
Yeah,
is like perfect. Thank you so much, Dorian, for
you're welcome.
your time with Sinusoidal Music. It was a pleasure to talk to you and great insights about the music industry. And guys, please check out Groover. It's an amazing platform. As an artist, I've used it myself as well. And you should definitely sign up and go try out, see what you get. And I'm pretty sure it'll be great for you guys as well.
Yeah, I mean, testing is the way to go here. Is like trying it out and see if it works for you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Dorian.
You're welcome. Thank you, Vishnu.